Hi there, this is Ben with MediaAgility, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to customize your inbox to your personal work preferences. If you're like most folks, you spend a lot of your day with your inbox as your home base. This is where you get communications, where you send communications, where you can launch chats whenever you need to communicate with a coworker, where you create collaborative workrooms to collaborate on files and topics. You can also launch your meetings and check all of the meetings that you have each day from your inbox. So Google has optimized this to be your home base. You can also launch any of the apps that you need to get work done, all from this single pane of glass. So it is worthwhile taking some time to customize this so that the layout and function is finely tuned to your preferences. To do so, there are some simple things that you can do. So over here, if this is too cluttered, you can expand or contract. You can also drag and drop your chat and your rooms to be able to view more. You can actually hide these as well if you want these truly minimized, and then you can just expand those as you like. So that's a pretty simple aesthetic change. Getting a little bit more here, you can also choose how many messages are shown in your inbox. Now, in this inbox, I only have 17 messages, so there isn't too much to worry about. But for most of us, we have several hundred, several thousand emails in our entire inbox. So this can be handy to toggle whether or not you see 50, 25, 10, or 5. You can also hide sections. So if important had none, that can be hidden when empty. In addition, you can ask it to show more messages, or if you want to see some more, let's go to the Manage Inbox settings. So this is where we can get really in depth about how we want to set up our inbox. So another way to get there is by clicking this gear, which will take us to settings and navigating to view more settings, which will then take us to this general tab, and we'll tab over to inbox. So by default, the inbox type dictates the overall layout and function of your inbox. So default is how you're typically going to see it, and you'll see it comes with some standard categories such as social, promotions. You can toggle on updates and forums, and it will be displayed similar to this. So if you have your main inbox, that will be displayed here. If you have social messages coming in, so maybe it's tied to LinkedIn, that will come into a separate little inbox there, or a separate category, I should say, that will be viewed as a separate tab. So you can set this up, and you can set this up with all of these different options here, or you can choose important first. This is something that a lot of folks enjoy. So if you flag an email as important, if you're curious how to do that, I do have another video in this playlist that will show you exactly how to do that. So if you have an email that is flagged as important, it's going to be pictured first. So if we go ahead and start this, and that's actually how this was done originally. But as you can see here, the important email is flagged first. And so this is visible before everything else. And that is how you set that up using the configuration that I just showed you. We can also choose how many. So if we just wanted the top 5 important messages, or we only want the 5 everything else messages, we can choose how many are visible to help keep our inbox clean and clear of clutter. You can also choose your unread first. So if you're like me, I often will keep messages unread so that I know to come back to them. And so it's handy to have those prioritized. And I'll show you what that looks like here. So as you can see, all of my read messages are down below, and then all the messages that I know I need to read are up at the top. You can also choose the priority inbox or starred first. So if you choose starred first, if you star any message, that will, similar to the others, will be displayed at the top of your inbox. Priority inbox allows you to customize multiple different sections. So as you can see, unread is going to be first. You can also choose this to be important and unread. Important, you can see all the different options here, but by default, it's going to be unread. And then you have this empty section. So you can choose what you want to view second. So maybe this is important. So you want to first know, okay, what is new that needs to be read? And then you want to be reminded what are your most important messages. And then after that, you want any messages that you've starred. And then finally, everything else is viewable below that. So if we save those changes, we can see we have some starred. We have important, we have starred, we have everything else. So first is our unread. As you can see here, all of these messages are unread. And then those that are flagged as important, those that are flagged as starred, and those that are categorized as everything else. So you can set that up. Again, you can get pretty customized in how you set that up based upon your personal preference. You can also choose whether or not you have a reading pane. So if you're used to Outlook, I believe, has this as a default. You can choose your reading pane, and you can either choose that there's a split or that you have it to the right or below your inbox. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to the right of the inbox. Click Save Changes. And now, whenever you're going through your inbox, you're able to preview all of your messages over here while addressing your inbox over here. The organization stays the same, so we kept this as the priority, so we can see the unread are first, the important are second, starred are third, and then everything else is down here. You can also choose to show or not show the importance markers. If you are using important as a filter for your messages, I would encourage you to keep this toggled on by default. You can also choose this, which is really neat. You can use past actions to predict which messages are important to me. So if Google notices by your user behavior using its machine learning that each message that you get from your manager, you mark as important. By default, it will start marking those messages as important so that you don't have to. They're already categorized as important. So those are some neat things that you can do to customize your inbox. You can also add labels. So by default, there are a lot of different system labels that you can use. You can see some of those are already shown. Some of them are by default hidden. So you can toggle these on and off here by choosing which to show and which to hide. In addition, you can add some further categories. So if you wanted your social, your updates, your forums, your promotions to be added, and these are, again, system labels that Google will automatically start to filter. So if you know that you're signed up with LinkedIn and you want those to be shown, you can now see those under the categories over here. So if you click drop down for categories, there's social. If you click that, it will show you all of your social updates. You can do the same for updates, forums, promotions, et cetera, et cetera. You can also create some new labels. So this might be Project X. And now we have high priority and Project X that we've created. We can choose to show or hide those labels. And now over here, we will be able to drag this. I'll show you how this is done. You can drag a label to a message, and now that label is applied to it. If I click over here in Project X, now any message that has been tagged with Project X is going to be visible there. You can also, from the message itself, choose to add a label. So you can add a label, Project X, and now that will be added to Project X, that label there. So again, to get there, we go over to Settings, Labels, and that is where you can create your own. Say you don't want all of them to be gray. From there, you can go over and click your label, click these three dots next to it, and you can change the label color. So maybe you need a bright red for high priority. And for Project X, we're going to keep it a cool blue. So you can go ahead and do that and change some other things there as well. You can add sub labels. So if this is, if Project X also has an IT function, and you can nest that beneath. So this is for all things pertaining to Project X specific to IT. So you can get very, very customized here when it comes to your labeling. But I just wanted to show you how you can do that. Of course, how you set that up is up to you. Again, just recapping everything that we just covered, because it was a good bit. We talked about some basic ways to format and customize your inbox. We looked at the different ways that you can set up using the priority inbox, the default, important first, et cetera, et cetera. We looked at the different categories that by default you can turn on and have visible as separate tabs. We talked about using reading panes and how to enable that using importance markers and how to use different labels. The final thing that I want to show you before we go is, of course, you can choose the maximum page size, so you can actually increase this to 100. You can also add which stars you want to use. So perhaps you have a common, some favorite ways that you flag your messages. By default, you just get 1 star, but you can easily drag and drop, and now all of these will be available to you. If we save those changes, I'll show you how those stars are used. So now, where typically I could just star and it turns orange, if I keep clicking, it will toggle through all of these different ones. So perhaps I want that one to be an exclamation point. I just click through until I get that. And that will be added to your stars just as another visual to let you know that that is flagged as red bang. There you go. So those are some easy, approachable, and yet really, really helpful ways that you can customize your inbox. I hope that you found this video very helpful and that this helps you create a better home base to do work from.